Hey everybody, it's Billy from DFW Speed. Today we have my good friend Walter on Instagram, Atomic Built. We have him in at the shop today. We are going to be putting some splash guards on his vehicle. As you can see here, the drag radials are quite wide on this wide body vehicle, and lots of stuff gets thrown back from the tires. This vehicle is equipped with front drag radials as well, so lots of rocks and debris get kicked back onto the paint of the vehicle, and not only does it make it dirty, it also can chip the paint. Here, as you can see on my Dodge Demon, we have already installed them. They go on the front and the back. They're very, very nice pieces. As you can see, it looks nice and clean. You would think maybe I cleaned the car, but I have not cleaned the car. It definitely cuts down on all that debris getting kicked up. I've done one little burnout, and there was zero rubber getting thrown onto the back rear quarter of the vehicle. So let's get started on Walter's car.
I put the team on my back. I do it all for the family. Everyone think they can rap. Nobody ever gon' challenge me. Starting my week on a Sunday. They think they can make it in one day. I just been ready to take off. Waiting my turn on the runway. Never be turning around. Never be turning around. Ayy. Never be slowing it down. Never be slowing it down.
Alright, so the parts we're going to be using today are from Swaim Custom Fabrication. These are for the 2018 Dodge Challenger Wide Body Hellcat and the 2018 Dodge Demon. And as you can see, these are not a universal piece. These are cut out and contoured to follow the shape of the vehicle. The holes are pre-drilled in the flaps, and they do come with all the necessary hardware to install them. Not only do they come with the screws, but they also come with, as you can see here, little nylon bushings that properly space out the flaps so they're not resting on the paint of the car. Also, once they're tightened up, they're not pushing on that plastic, causing it to distort. So they are very, very nice quality piece. So let's show you step by step of how we install them. Also, additional information can be found at SwaimCustomFabrications.com, and I'll put a link below in the description. Okay, so right here on this, what I like to do on the instructions from Swaim, which you can follow that from Swaim Custom Fabrication. Go to their tech center, and there's a PDF on exactly the step-by-step instructions. They ask that you put some painter's tape here so you mark it. Me, being a shop owner, and I've been in the business for many, many years. You can do it that way, or I found little ways to make it a little easier on myself. So what I like to do is I have a small little pick that I'll show you, but I just like to get that lined up, get it exactly where I want it, and I'll just kind of put a nice little indentation, then just check to make sure it's nice and centered. Then from there, there's two drill bits. There is a 3/32 for the small one. So once you get this exactly where you want it, and you have that nice little indentation, it's nice and centered in the middle there, then what I'll do is I'll take the 3/32 drill bit and put a nice little guide hole right here. Then I will take the first screw and go ahead and get that nice and secure, not too tight, because we're still going to work on the rest of those. Then from there I will get the contour right here, right where it needs to be. Then the second 3/32 drill bit is going to go right here. That's where your two smaller screws are going to go. Then the 1/8 drill bit, that's going to be on the top here. Then just make two little holes here, and what I like to do is just kind of with the drill bit just gently push against it so it marks, and I'll also put a little bit of pressure on this so it follows the contour. Because if you have it straight, you might not exactly get the hole right where it needs to be when you go to tighten it up. So I'll put a little bit of pressure on that. Then I'll take the drill bit and just kind of gently touch a little bit on this hole here and this hole here, and then I'll move it back and just make sure I'm in a good spot. Then I'll move this off to the side, and I'll continue to drill the two 1/8 guide holes right here and right here. Then from there, I'll secure the bottom screw, which is the small screw. Then on the top here, the longer screws, that is where you will actually mount the nylon bushing here. So what I'll do is get, of course there's one here and one on the top, and this will be located on here. Then I will take and put the screw in, then put the guide, the little bushing here. Then from there, it will we'll find the holes that I've already pre-drilled. Then we'll just gently work all the screws until it's nice and flush and just snug. You don't want to over tighten it because it's just plastic and it will strip out. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on getting the drilling done. So we'll get that nice and just kind of somewhat right where it needs to be. Try to get nice in the middle of that plastic there. Then what I'll do, once I get it exactly where I want it, this is not so crucial, but I still like to get it, you know, pretty much where it needs to be. Then I'll just gently hold it. Then with my little pick here, or you know, a scratch-all or a marker, whatever you want to do, I'll put a nice little indentation there, or you can mark it with a pencil or a Sharpie. Then I'll take that off. Then I like to make sure that it's nice and centered in the middle before I drill, because once you drill into this, that's it, you've committed. We're gonna take our 3/32 drill. We're gonna go right where I put the little guide hole. A nice little guide hole there. And from there, we will just slightly put that on the bottom. There's no need to tighten it up all the way. And that will kind of hold the flap right where we need it to be in order to get the other holes, the guide holes drilled. So with the 3/32 drill still on, I'm going to take, and just like I said, we're going to follow the contour of the arch. And we're going to gently put some pressure there, just so we can get the hole nice and straight. And once we get everything all nice and straight and I'm holding pressure, then I'll go, and just the same as the top there, just gently kind of make a little, I'm not putting any pressure on it, I'm just kind of marking where it's going to go. And as you can see, then I'll verify that I have it. It's right there in the center, you know, because you don't want to be too far in or too far out, because then the screw's going to come poking through this bottom side here. So I like to be nice and centered. Now that we know that is nice and centered, now I'm going to go ahead and with that 3/32 drill bit, I'm going to go ahead and make the little guide hole here. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to help hold it up into place on that second screw. There's 4 total screws that hold it into place. And we're just going to go just a little bit on there because we're not tightening everything up just yet. Then we're going to put our 1/8 drill bit, and we're going to do the same thing that we did on the bottom. And we're going to just make sure that we're nice and flush here with the arch. And nice and flush with the arch, we're going to put some pressure on it just so it's pulling against the contour of the arch. Then again, I'm just going to not put any pressure. We're just going to kind of make a little indentation. Then I'm going to pull it back. And with the little flashlight here on the thing, on the drill, you can kind of see where I made my 2 holes. And everything looks good there. So from there, I'm just going to find those 2 little indentions that we made. And we're going to go ahead and go all the way through. Just plastic, so it does not take a lot of pressure. And from there, we take our 2 longer screws, and we're just going to pull back a little bit, run that through, put our nylon washer on. We're going to do that for the little middle one there. And we're going to do it for the top one as well. Then I'm going to find the 2 holes that are drilled. With it being further away, it's going to, you know, it can be a little tricky getting the hole right exactly where it is, because now we're not pushing up against it, so the contour is not really there. So once I find the hole, then we'll just kind of gently start the screw, and we'll go to the top one and find the same location and gently start the screw. And once you kind of get them somewhat started, I like to put some pressure on that just to kind of follow that contour a little bit, and I just kind of work it. So that way, you know, it's not really pulling back on it while you're trying to tighten up. So I just kind of work the screws. And once we get these 2 top ones done, then we can gently secure the bottom ones. Then we'll be done. Then we'll move on to the front. It's pretty easy, and as you can see, everything is nice and flush.
kind of hold it right where you want it to be. Those nylon spacers will make it to where it doesn't put too much pressure and cause that to cave in, because over time, without those nylon spacers, it would cause that plastic to distort from heat, and then over time that could loosen up. So this kit was well thought out. Those nylon spacers definitely are a requirement in my mind, because what it does is it just nicely spaces that out so you're not putting too much pressure on the back side here of the paint. So, you know, if you decide that you want to take these off for any reason, with those nylon spacers being on there, it's not going to rub into that paint and make it to where it's unsightly or ruin it. And everything is just nice and snug. You don't have to go too crazy with it because it's just plastic. And that's it. As you can see, it's a real nice, well thought out splash guard. Now we can do all the burnouts that we want and not have to worry about getting rubber or rocks or any of that stuff ruining this rear quarter. So the fronts are actually much easier. You only have to drill one hole, which is kind of up here a little bit. But basically you take off this bolt right here, this 7mm. Then there is this lower clip right here, and then that pops out. So these are the two spots that we're going to be using to mount the lower portion of it. And the top piece, then it has the longer screw with a nylon spacer, and we'll drill a hole. So it's pretty simple. So let's get these things thrown on. The front is much easier than the back. So I just kind of like to put that up, make sure I'm taking off exactly where we need to take those off. So take 7mm, and we're going to 1000% sure I'm taking the right one off. So 7mm, take that off. We're going to be reusing the lower hardware. Bottom piece, we're going to take this one out right here. We're going to be reusing that. So just go ahead and just get that bottom one popped on there, just kind of hold it into place. So just kind of hold it into place. Then we're going to take, there's two sizes of nylon spacers here. The 7mm, we're going to utilize this short one here. Then the top screw that we're going to drill a 1/8 inch pilot hole. This larger one is going to go on the top screw. So the same theory as the back. This right here is going to keep it from pushing too hard against the paint of the car. It's not going to allow it for the plastic to distort. It's going to be a nice long-term solution to make sure these things don't go anywhere. And again, as you can see, these things are nice and contoured to follow the contours of inside here. It's not a universal fit. It is a custom fit piece. So we're going to get this the 7mm with the small washer here. I'm going to go ahead and get that put into its little location. You don't have to tighten this up, just kind of get it started a little bit. Then the same thing we're going to do on the back when we go to drill this 1/8 inch hole is we're going to make sure we get this, put some pressure here to make sure it follows the contour and make sure we're nice and flush with the arch here. And once we have the contour, we verify that the contour, we have the nice counter pressure there and that it's nice and flush. And the same thing, we're going to take our 1/8 inch drill bit and we're going to drill a little pilot hole into the plastic. Then from there, we're going to take our larger nylon bushing and our screw, and we're going to go ahead and get those started. And locate the hole. Just going to kind of get it in its spot, and we'll start working it in. And I like to, while I'm tightening this up, I like to put some counter pressure on it and make sure that's nice and flush. And again, this is plastic. It doesn't have to be super tight, just snug. Then that bottom clip is put on. Then we will go ahead and snug up this 7mm as well. And again, this is, even though it's a factory bolt, it is just plastic, so just nice and snug. No need to torque it down too tight. As you can see, there's a nice little gap here. It's not pushing too hard up against this, so it's not going to wear into the paint. It's going to be a nice long-term solution to keep all that spray from happening. These Demons use drag radios on the front, and they're super sticky, so any little thing on the road, it catches it and just flings it back. It hits here, that rear rocker corner down there, those get beat up, the arches get beat up pretty bad, so these are definitely I think a must-have for every Demon owner to keep their paint nice and rock chip free, and of course it helps with doing burnouts as well.
All right, everybody, as you can see, these splash guards from SwaimCustomFabrications.com look absolutely amazing on the car. The owner of this vehicle is definitely excited that he no longer has to worry about rock chips or burnt rubber on those rear quarters. So definitely, these are very, very nice pieces. So guys, if you have a Challenger wide body or a Dodge Demon, you definitely need these for your car. They are a great investment. All right, guys, be sure to like this video. Also, click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Also, be sure to check out the videos at the top. Later.